Hello, everyone. I am so excited to be back. I know this is only the second episode, but I just have a lot of fun recording these. It's so much fun. And since the beginning of the year, it's like, what day is it even? This will be going out on the 9th. So even though we're only a little over a week in, it's still been kind of crazy and busy. So last Sunday, I didn't end up posting an episode. One week, whether it's this coming up week or today, I'm not really sure yet. I will be posting 2 episodes instead of just one, just to catch back up. On that note, let's just go ahead and get right into it. Today is about, is self-care hurting or helping you? I know for a really, really long time, me personally, I was saying that the self-care, quote unquote, I know I don't have this like on video, but I'm like, air quotes. I talk with my hands so much, it's insane. And I want to preface this by saying, before I go on my tangent of explaining all of the bad things that I did for myself personally, but I thought was actually helping me, but it was hurting me, I want to just say that if you do these things now, I don't want you to judge yourself. I'm not judging you. Everyone grows at their own rate. So I never want you to compare yourself to someone else. That's a big thing in my book as well, is I used to do that all the time. Comparison to these people that have been working on their self-care and their self-love journeys, weight loss journeys, whatever. Their journey is for them and no one else. And so by comparing myself to them, I was only hurting myself. I wasn't helping myself because I was judging. I'm going to say myself again. I was judging myself because I thought I had to be living at their standards that they were setting for themselves. And I was completely wrong because everybody's journey is different. It looks different for a reason. Like your journey that you're having for yourself is not going to be the same as mine. And maybe it's similar in certain aspects, but it's not going to be exactly the same, and we're not going to do it at the same time. I always say this, but this is one of the reasons that I started this podcast, was because you don't have to know everything right away. Like, I don't know everything clearly. I'm learning every single day, and that's how it should be. But I love myself enough to do the work. And that is more powerful than anything else. Because yes, you can follow these step-by-step guides that people give you. You can do all the things that you want, that people tell you to do. But if your heart is not in it, and you don't love yourself enough to continue and push through, then you won't do it. You won't pull through, you won't succeed, and it'll be all for nothing. So, that is why I want to give you this, whatever you want to call it, I don't even know, like motivation, like kick in the ass, I don't know. I am just here with a mic and just recording and hoping that this reaches someone to give you, like I said, the kick in the ass or the motivation or whatever, just to learn that you are so much stronger and so much more powerful than you think. I promise. So, on that note, I want you to answer this question. Is your self-care hurting you or helping you? Going back to the beginning where I started explaining all of those bad habits that I had in place that I thought was my self-care routine, was not. It was only hurting me. So this is going to give you kind of a guide to show you, okay, are these self-care routines actually giving me self-care, or is it just hurting me and making it harder for me to love myself and care for myself? So watching TV was a big thing for me. I thought, okay, I've cleaned one room in my house. It's time to sit on the couch and like watch TV. Not just one episode. I would tell myself, oh, I'm just going to watch one episode. And then I'd watch probably like the whole last season. Like, it was not helping me. It was hurting me. It was wasting my time, wasting my energy. But I was also dealing with depression at the time too. Like really bad. And I know some of you can probably relate. And this was before my daughter was born, that I had the really bad depression at this point. Now, obviously, I mean, I've dealt with depression after my daughter was born. That was rough, but that's another episode. But after my daughter was born was when I really started to understand that I deserved more for myself, for my family, for her. And I didn't want her to grow up seeing me as just like someone who was sad all the time, wasn't happy with her life, whatever. Like, I didn't want her to see that of myself. I wanted her to see a strong, independent woman that was raising her and learn that she could be the same and have goals and go after them, and that nothing could hold her back. And if you feel the same way, which I feel like most of you probably will, especially if you relate to this podcast, but I wanted to show her that. And so that kind of gave me the kick in the ass that I needed to take initiative, to do the work, to love myself enough. And I'm not saying you have to love yourself to the entirety of whatever, like every little teeny bit of your body, your mind, your soul, whatever. You don't have to love it all at first, but love yourself enough to do the work to get started. Because the junk foods, the negative people in your life, the watching TV all the time, all of those bad habits are not serving you. Now, obviously, I'm not telling you to cut out everything like that at once. That would be a sure way for you to fail. That is not what I believe in. I know that a lot of, like, I don't know, Pinterest things, YouTube videos, whatever, like all of these, like, gurus are telling you just cut it all out, cut cold turkey it, And if you work that way, great. You know yourself better than I do. But if you don't, and you've tried that before and it wasn't working for you, try something new. Do something else, because that's what I was literally going insane. Obviously, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and getting the same result. And that was me. I was going fucking insane because I knew I deserved more deep down, but I wasn't doing anything on the outside to show it and to support that. So what I started doing, and I'm going to give you some tips here, is, and this is what's worked for me. I'm not saying that's going to work 100% for you, but this has worked for me. And I know if you're anything like me, to where cutting cold turkey was not working for you, it was actually harder, then these may work. So, especially with the new year, everyone puts resolutions. Everyone's like, okay, I'm going to stop doing whatever, and I'm going to just start eating super healthy when all you've eaten was junk food. I am going to work out 6-7 days a week, even though you haven't worked out in like 6 months to a year or even longer. I know some people do that. What I would recommend is writing down all of those bad habits you want to break. Being aware of them, taking them in, writing them down, making that list of those things that you want to, pull out of your life, whether it's people or just habits. It can be anything negative that you want to get out of your life, write them down. And then next to them, I want you to write down what you are going to replace it with. So maybe if it's junk food, maybe look up a couple recipes for something that's going to still kick your sweet tooth, but a healthier alternative. And I'm not saying it has to be 100% healthy. It just has to be better than what the foods you're eating now are. Now that you have your game plan on how you're going to break those bad habits or get those negative people out of your life, I want you to set timelines. So now this is going to differ for every person depending on how many habits you have and how extreme your habits are and your game plan. Things are going to vary. But say you have like 12 habits, right, that you want to break by the end of the year. I want you to write down, okay, January I break one, February I break one, something like that. And I know I recommended this book in the last episode, but seriously, it's such a good one. It's called Atomic Habit. This helped me. I read it at the beginning of 2021, and it seriously changed my life. Like, it made me think differently about my bad habits and how to put new habits into place. And that's going to be it for this episode. Thank you so much for listening. I seriously appreciate it. You have no idea. I hope this helped you in some sort of way, especially if you're kind of new to the self-care game. I hope you have a wonderful week and keep running towards those goals, Mama.